As we're not able to have an end-of-term cathedral service, I thought I'd read you one of the passages from the Bible that we were due to be having at that service and share some thoughts with you about it now from the school chapel. It's a passage found in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 53, beginning at the first verse. Who could believe what we have heard? And to whom has the power of the Lord been revealed? Like a sapling he grew up in front of us, like a root in arid ground. Without beauty, without majesty we saw him, no looks to attract our eyes, a thing despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering, a man to make people screen their faces. He was despised, and we took no account of him. And yet ours were the sufferings he bore, ours the sorrows he carried. But we thought of him as someone punished, struck by God and brought low. Yet he was pierced through for our faults, crushed for our sins. On him lies a punishment that brings us peace, and through his wounds we are healed. This is a passage that is often read in Lent, and particularly in Holy Week running up to Good Friday. There's a couple of lines from this that particularly strike me today. The first is this idea that Jesus shares our sufferings. He carries our diseases, as one translation puts it. What does that mean for us today, that he carries our diseases? I think for me it means that there's nothing that we are experiencing that he is not experiencing at the same time with us, alongside us, in us. Jesus is here with me and with you, carrying our diseases. Secondly, this passage says, and through his wounds we are healed. Again, many different Christians have interpreted this in many different ways over the years. But for me, it speaks of the healing power of knowing that we are not in this alone. As Jesus carries our diseases, as he participates in our suffering and we participate in his, we realize that we participate in one another's suffering as well. We are interconnected. We are held in God. And knowing that we are not alone, knowing that we are held in love, knowing that we are held securely in God's memory, that we can never be forgotten, brings healing and relief and peace. And so may you know today that Jesus carries your diseases. Jesus participates in our suffering, in your suffering, in the world's suffering. And by his wounds, we are healed. I'm praying for you. May God give you peace now and over the coming weeks. Amen.